Okay, so here for another Australian temporary collectors chat. Another week. It's me and Rob here again. So hello, Rob. Welcome back again.
Nice to see you, Ryan. Nice to be back for another week.
Yep, that's it. Same with me. It's nice escapism from the world, so I can just talk shit for a couple of hours.
Right. It's out of the place to dribble.
It is, basically, yeah. It's where I come. Nobody listens to me anywhere else, so I just come here and talk shit, and that's all good.
I don't think anyone's listening to us here, so you can dribble away whatever you would like to say. Go right ahead. No one's listening. Even me.
I like to start off by saying, "Fuck Trump," and
soon to be leader of the free world.
Oh, fucking hell. World War III will start if he comes in. You'll be having sideshow premium format Trumps soon.
No, just the hair. Just the hair.
Yeah. Like the real deal as well. You don't have anything. And the thing is, you don't have to get real hair to make it look real, because obviously he's wearing a wig. So you just make a bunch of wigs, wherever he gets his from, and stick him on the bus, and we're good to go. So I'll be looking forward to that, and I'll be definitely up for pre-order soon. I think it's Sideshow. So I'll be.
I'm gonna plead the fifth, because what is the saying? You shouldn't talk politics and religion. And I'll wade out of that one. Too many people get offended too easily, even if there is no one listening.
Yeah.
But it has been a week of controversy. Sideshow dropped the ESs for their Dark Phoenix, the Green Goblin, and the Lex Luthor premium formats.
Oh,
The Dark Phoenix exclusive, just the exclusive, came in at 2,500, which is... I nearly fell out of my chair when I read that.
That's for an exclusive.
That's just the exclusive, yeah. So we can I guess we can say there's going to be at least 5,000 of those pieces running around. What was the second one that they did? The Lex Luthor. Pardon me. That's got a very small EXO. Green Goblin first. 2,000 for the Green Goblin that they're doing, which has no exclusive. So for Sideshow, that's a reasonable number. I would hazard a guess at. It's not great. It's not terrible. But at $500 a pop for him, 2,000. It's not going to be hard to pick him up at all anytime into the future. And the Lex Luthor, I guess this really says a lot as to how he's selling. His EX only has a edition size of 500 pieces. So poor Lex Luthor, he's got to grow some boobs and some hair, and maybe get into the gym and work out a bit and get on those hormones. It's the only way he's going to up his ES, unfortunately. So, and the other big controversy that's melting the internet, it's melting YouTube, is of course the Ghostbusters trailer that has dropped through the week. Yes.
Oh shit.
Ghostbusters in name, but is it Ghostbusters in anything else? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll leave that for more educated people to make their judgments on. But we've got our first look at what they've all been working on for the last year. Any thoughts, Ryan? Or you're still dumbstruck by what you've seen?
I did watch it and had no words to describe. I don't think I had at the time. I was like, there's no way. I mean, don't get me wrong, and I don't mean this. So people, if you're a massive Ghostbusters fan, please do not take this the wrong way. I don't mean it like this. I like the original Ghostbusters films, especially the first one. The first one is still the best. But I've never, like how you have people that talk about things like the Holy Grail, and then they're like, the best film ever. I've never looked at Ghostbusters as the best film ever, but I've looked at it as a good, classic, original film that is, it's a lot of fun if you watch it. it's not like it's fun. It's a fun film. It's essentially like a family film, and it's not like got it like incredible writing or anything like that, or incredibly overly complex story. And again, that's not a bad thing for the film at all. I'm just saying that the film is just fun, So it's not like recreating. Well, it's not like, I wouldn't say in the same league as something like recreating, I don't know, maybe Blade Runner or Star Wars. You know what I mean? Like, as they're like, you don't fuck with that. Or Indiana Jones. But like I say, I like the originals. But yes, this film just looks shit from the get-go. And there's not a lot really. I don't have to prove my point. You just go and look at how many likes to dislikes it has. And if you're wondering what I mean by that is, well, all I can say is the dislikes outweigh the likes. That's all I can say. This isn't one that's got people going, oh well, give it a chance, and you could give it a chance. And I'm not going to shitbag someone, because I'm not one of these fucking idiots on the internet that goes, oh, it's gonna be shit, you can't touch the originals and all this. I don't like to jump to conclusions, because something can always be better than the original. There's always this things that can be better and done better. But as far as this trailer goes, it wasn't funny at all. I did not laugh once through the trailer. I didn't even laugh at how bad it was. I just didn't laugh. It was kind of like, oh shit. And especially for hardcore Ghostbusters fans, I'm going, oh shit, sort of like, fucking hell, Melissa McCarthy and all them lot, better stay indoors for a few weeks and, barricade themselves in there, because you might get a few angry fans.
I think there are more than a few angry fans. They're lining up to take their shot.
Yeah, it's like the fucking apocalypse. Once that trailer.
That's right. They're all out there. They've got the pitchforks and the torches, and they're hunting them down. Yes, they don't need us to join the crowd. But anyway, one thing I will say about that trailer, I think it's really sloppily put together. It's really poorly cut together. I'm not going to comment on the content. I'll just say the trailer is really poorly put together. I found an article. I was reading an article today about a guy. Let me see if I can get his name here. For example, what was his name? Bevan. Anyway, there's a lot of folks have already recut the trailer to this new film from what Evan Bell is the guy's name. He's a director in Los Angeles, Hollywood, and he recut it. He was one of the first people to recut that trailer. And if you go onto YouTube and just type in Bevan Bell Ghostbusters fan edit, you'll get his version of that trailer. And his edit is a little too quick, but it's a lot better than what is currently screening officially from Sony. So that's probably a good exercise for people to go and have a look at his fan edit. And he cuts it against the original Ray Parker Jr. theme song, cuts it much quicker, probably a little bit too quick for my liking, but certainly it plays 100 times better than what's officially out there. I don't really know what else to say about it, quite frankly. I think everyone can make up their own mind. For mine, like I said, it's not a well put together trailer to begin with, and when you've got spent all that money and you can't put together a decent trailer, something's amiss somewhere along the line. I don't know what is amiss, and I don't know where it's amiss, but I do know that trailer is not put together as well as it should be or could be.
Yeah, I think that's it, you know, and the point of a trailer is to sell your film from a marketing point of view. That is the whole idea, that the trailer is not there because they want to put it out there. It's so it can draw a target audience in to see the film, and that's failed. And
Yes.
as far as I'm concerned, it's failed. And if you look at the actual trailer, and I know I can't say this because I've not seen the film, but just judging from the trailer, I have a strong feeling, just due to the set designs, everything, is this is going to be the fucking scene for scene of the first film with female characters. I just have the feeling, just like how in the trailer, the black girl gets found last. Yeah, that's you know.
Yeah, I've read a synopsis of the film that's pretty close to what is going to be the final version, and it's very close to the original film, very close to the original. And you can see from that, again, the footage in that trailer, the beats, those beats that they've snuck into the trailer are all, they're just redos of what is in that original film. It will be that original film just retooled for 4 female characters and slightly altered dialogue, you know, slightly altered scenarios, but essentially it's going to be very much a rehash of the first film. And probably, if I have to comment on the content of the trailer, you know, the opening title cards that come up as the trailer starts, where they talk about, it says, you know, 4 scientists saved New York, and you know, it wasn't 4, it was 3, and then Winston came and joined the group, and I don't think he was ever classified as a scientist, but that crawl or that text sets it up as a sequel, and it's pretty plain from the footage that this is not a sequel. This is a pure reboot from scratch, so to speak, without acknowledging the first one or the second one.
It's funny you say that. Someone asked, is this a sequel to the originals? And it acknowledges, like you say in the trailer, 30 years ago, you know, 3 guys took on the fucking Marshmallow Man, State Puff guy, whatever his fucking name is, and it runs all that down. You know, that's what it's doing. But according to the producers and the director and everyone working on the film, it's got absolutely nothing to do with the first. According to them, the first films never happened. They don't exist. This is literally, like you say, a reboot, an actual.
Yes, you can see from the footage that there's no. This is a clean slate film. It's taking, you know, it's a clean reboot. You know, taking everything from that. You know, more so the first film than the second one, I'm sure, but not acknowledging that they've come before it in any kind of, you know, timeline, if you will.
And another big
universe. Pardon me?
Sorry about that. Another big mistake, though, that they've also done, which has been confirmed, and they've said, it was mentioned, and you pretty much know where it's going, is there's more to come in the pipe. They've already planned more Ghostbusters films in the pipeline.
Yeah. It would have been an interesting. I would have liked to have been a fly on the wall and sat in some of the conferences that the execs at Sony were having in terms of meetings over this property, trying to decide what to do with it, because I don't know, it's a very strange way that they've gone about just reinvigorating the franchise, not rebooting it, but just reinvigorating it and bringing it back into the public consciousness. I think there are, to me, much better ways that they could have done this, and sort of, I mean, they always talk about, now everyone wants to build a sort of Marvel, Star Wars like shared universe, having multiple films across you know, that universe, etc., etc. You know, there are pretty simple ways that Ghostbusters could have been done like that, but they don't seem to have gone down that track. Though who knows? Maybe they will in the future. Who knows?
Yeah, I just personally, it's a film that no one asked for, and it's a film that we don't need. It's dragging something out, and like I said, I've got nothing. There's nothing wrong. I'm not one of these people who gets clingy to shit. And if you start changing stuff, it pisses me off. It doesn't. I don't care. You can make anybody. You can make. You could have a film about Batgirl for as far as I can give it. It doesn't bother me the same. I'm open to new ideas. But if it's not executed well, then regardless of whether they change that film or not, it's still a bad execution. Yeah. And that's the thing. I think people miss that these days. Is that people don't know the difference between a different take and then execution of a film. Some people say something shit because it's not it's not the same law as what they think it should be, and they've changed this, therefore it's crap in their opinion. Whereas actually the film itself is executed pretty well, regardless of what they say. A film is executed well, regardless of how faithful it is to the law or whatever. It's a good film. That's how I feel about films. But when a film is not executed well, then it's not executed well. That's it. Full stop. Yeah. But some people don't see the difference, and this is an example of. I know people are pissed off by the change, but it's not the change that bothers me. It's the execution, from what I'm seeing.
Yes. No, sorry, you finish.
Oh no, that's okay. You keep going.
Well, I feel pretty much the same way. To me, the whole idea of making it for women, that seemed to rile everyone up and get them all jumping up and down and cursing and foaming at the mouth. To me, that's that I don't really. That has really no sort of. I don't really mind either way, to be brutally honest. I mean, like you, what I'm looking at is the end result, the film that gets made, not the little bits that are going to make up the whole. I mean, sure, it's like baking a cake, and you've got to have all the right ingredients to make the cake as tasty as it can be at the end of the day. But that's something that is out of our control. It's the filmmaker's choices, and they're going to live and die by those choices when the finished product comes out, and people either will take to it or they won't take to it. And case in point, J.J. Abrams and The Force Awakens, and the choices he made with that film. Whatever you thought of them, the film has resonated with the public without a doubt. People have enjoyed that film immensely, whether you thought it was a soft reboot or it took too much from A New Hope, whatever the case may be. It seems that the overwhelming majority of the public seem to take to the film and really enjoy it. So again, let's make a judgment, I guess, when we see the final film.
That's it. Yeah, and that's it. About having all the female characters. You could have put the original cast in that trailer, and I'd still thought it was shit. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's just, like I say, it's not. And I know there are. That's the problem with the internet. We have all these fucking idiots on there that are just immature, and most of them are 10. And we can't have chicks as the main characters. This is bullshit, and all this, And you sort of just harden the fuck up, I mean, Rey in Star Wars, as you just mentioned, his female character is the main character.
Yes.
And the one that actually becomes a Jedi. And if I spoil that for you, that's your fault. You should have gone and seen the film.
Could have seen it by now. That's right.
And there's people who go, "Oh, that's just being feminist." I don't look at it like that at all. I see films where they are feminist, or they have to try, and they shouldn't have to. And that's the thing in this day and age. The problem is with Hollywood, everything at the moment, and media in general, is people are too sensitive. Anything you do in a film is going to get criticized one way or another. It's like in a film, you've got to have a black guy
Yeah.
in a film, or you're gonna have this, and with like the Oscars and all that bullshit. Not enough.
That's right. You can just bring up the Oscars, can't you? And that's all you
Yeah,
need to say about that.
and that's it. People, you're gonna piss somebody off, and you can't please everybody in this world. You can't. It's impossible. For
That's
every
right.
100 people that likes this particular TV show, movie, whatever, there's going to be at least one or two that are going to go, nah, shit. But as long as you like it, that's the only thing that matters, I believe.
That's right. That's
No one
exactly
can
right.
change what you think. And this film could come out and be great. And even if this film comes out and is good, let's just say in a world where it turns out to be good, and I hope it does in a way. I never hope for anything to fail. I'm not.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't want to destroy stuff. But if it does turn out well, there'll still people that go, it's shit, this. It's like a perfect example for me personally is Jurassic World. Now, Jurassic World, that film came out and it was positively received mostly. Most people loved it, thought it was great, and it did incredibly well on the box office as well. So, it kind of had the Star Wars treatment. When it came out, people loved it, watched it, enjoyed it, came back, and then obviously, the Dungeon Dwellers came out, with their, their little fingers out like this, and go, well, actually, I didn't think it was that great, and just nitpicking the shit out of a film and that. And, for me, Jurassic World as a film was like, it's probably my favorite Jurassic Park film since the original. And the reason I say that is because as a film, when I look at it as a film, for me, and my dad has even said it, and my brother, and even, my mum's not like a massive movie person, but even my mum, when we all go to see these classic films, there's obviously a family and that, and it's the memories. I mean, Jurassic Park, for me especially, along with Batman and Godzilla, that's what I grew up on, and Star Wars,
Yes.
But if I looked at it as a film, there was more I enjoyed about Jurassic World than I did about the original, And that was my honest thoughts, That's like I'm not like one of those people that go, it's not your shit compared to the original, because I don't honestly believe that, you know what I mean? If it is shit compared to if I honestly believe that, I'll say it. And obviously people went in and watched Jurassic World, loved it, and then there's the idiots, like I said, the online idiots that come out and they just shit bag it. But that's everything. Like Star Wars, if you go on IMDb, you'd think nobody would like that film. You just go on IMDb. If anyone's watching this, or Mark, if you're watching this, anybody, and Robert, after this chat, go on IMDb and have a look at all of the so-called user reviews on it. The hatred for Force Awakens is huge, and it's even saying that The Phantom Menace was a better film and all this bollocks. And they're totally full of shit, a lot of them. Some of them genuinely don't like the film, and that's cool. If they genuinely just don't connect with the film, that's fair enough. But that's like anything, and that's like I say, going back to the Ghostbusters film. Regardless how this film will turn out, there's always going to be some fucker that's not going to like it anyway. Especially, the trailer is just a perfect example of that. The backlash to that,
Yes. Yeah. So that's our little say on that. Got any new pieces through the week, or have you pre-ordered anything? Myself, I actually did. I did that last week, but I haven't got anything yet. I haven't got it yet.
Yeah. So what did you pre-order?
I just got a couple of those little. Hang on, I'll get one and I'll show you.
Okay, show me. Yeah.
Getting old. I just pre-ordered a couple of these little, they're little hobbit holes that Weta make. Yeah, I mentioned last week Weta were putting the price up on these from $40 to $50. So 25% jump, and there's 5 that they've made that were $40 each. I had 3 of them, so I thought, I better get the other 2 before they go up in price. And lo and behold, They did go up in price. The bastards
Oh.
did put them up. So I bought the two that I don't have for the cheap price, which was good. So they should turn up sometime next week, and looking forward to those. You know, they're nice and cheap, nice little pieces, go well with the collection. So really happy with those. What about yourself? Have you got your eyes on anything? Have you pre-ordered that XM Batman? Come on, it went up for pre-order through the week.
It went up for pre-order.
No, jumping on it left, right, and centre.
No, unfortunately, I haven't pre-ordered it. I'm still waiting on that Mezco Batman though that I got. The other
yeah.
bought. I'm still waiting on that. That's supposed to come. I think that'll come this week coming up. Whereas for the XM Batman, I probably won't pre-order it because I don't know where to fucking pre-order it, and I'm not that committed to jump on with these guys that are like there, like sitting, like fucking refreshing the page 24/7.
Yes.
And on top of that, you know, Helmy did say when he gets his anyway, if he doesn't want it, he said he would sell it to me.
Yeah.
And on top of that, he can give me his thoughts on it as well. You know, someone in hand who I know has it, and then he can go, hey, do you want this or not? He can show me. If I like it, I'll take it. If I don't, I don't. But right now, I'm in my head anyway, I'm focusing on this Batman v Superman. But at the same time, I'm also holding off because I'm waiting till the film to come out and see how the film goes.
Batman v Superman.
Yes, man.
Are you going Prime 1? Prime 1 half scale. Sell the rest of your collection and you might be able to afford one of them. Come on.
Oh. Yeah, well, I can't do that, Rob.
How much are they? $2,000 US. Come on, I reckon if you just sell that top shelf, get rid of that Deadpool, you know, the Iron Man bar stuff there, the Batman, the Joker, what is that, the Interplay Joker. If you sold those, you might be halfway there. You might just be halfway there. Yeah,
maybe. That's a lot for halfway there, though, isn't it? That's a lot. But no, the Prime 1 stuff's nice, and you know, it's cool. But at the same time, I can get something on par with that quality in 1/6 scale form, and cheaper. So
yes, a lot cheaper.
Yeah, and that's from Hot Toys, obviously. And that's the thing. Yes, Prime 1, I've done some pretty decent head sculpts on the Batman v Superman stuff. But obviously, when you're comparing it to Hot Toys, you know, they're only as on par to Hot Toys. I wouldn't say they're better, you know what I mean? Especially, like, say, Hot Toys, they are, like you said a few previous chats ago, you said they're the best on the market for head sculpts, you know? So, and, you know, I stand by that they are, but then again, Prime 1 would then, let's say, especially the Cavill anyway, they nailed that. The Ledger that they did was good, but not quite perfect. Still not as good as the Hot Toys. Hang on, 2.0.
I have some pictures of that for later. So hold your fire till we get to the pictures, and I'll show you some newer pictures of that piece.
Okay. Let's see it. Let's have a look. Okay. So you got that. But you got the pictures up, or?
Do you want me to do them now? I'll go through all of them, or do you want to?
Whatever. I could do whatever. We can wait. I don't mind. Yeah. But like I say, I mean, I still stand by the Joker 2.0 is the best Ledger head sculpt.
I'll pop them up right now. We can have a quick look at him.
Yeah, let's have a look at him anyway. One thing I do know is it is miles better than the Sideshow one, that's for sure.
There we are.
There we are.
That's
looking
him.
good.
That's some Newer pictures. Yes, it's the sad Joker, I think.
It's a good. It's definitely Heath. It's not, like I said, I still stand by my words. It's not as good as the Hot Toys. But that's no surprise to me. That's to be expected. You're competing with the best when it comes to head sculpts with Hot Toys. They are the best. The fact that Prime One are pumping out head sculpts this good anyway is.
I like the head sculpt, but he just looks a bit hangdog expression. You know, he just looks a bit sad. The old Joker. I don't know why he looks sad like that, but he just does. I read a comment that said they should have done him like that in the poster, and I agree. That's how they should have done him, like that, with that menaced expression on his face, like he's going to, take that little knife of his and put it somewhere where it's really going to hurt. I think that would have been a much better way to go. And with his, you can see the slightly sort of hunched over expression that he's got there.
Yeah,
in terms of his body language and posture. That's what they should have gone with.
And I think that's another thing it lacks: the Hot Toys and the Entebbe. And again, I want to just say the Entebbe's head sculpt for me is spot on as well. I just think the Hot Toys one has the slight edge, like you said. But the Hot Toys and the Entebbe both have something that doesn't, and the posture down. They have the posture down pat. That is not Heath Ledger's posture in the film. He's slouched in the film, like you said.
Yeah.
That's too upright. He never has his shoulders up like that. He has it like sort of just hanging down, as low as possible. And so again, like I totally agree. They missed the mark there as well. And I understand people getting thingy. I mean, I don't like the sideshow pose either. I think that's a fucking dreadful pose.
That goes a little bit too far in the other direction.
Yeah, that was
too exaggerated.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck they were thinking on that. It looks like he's had a hot curry and then he's, squatting down to take a shit. And then there's the fucking flames following him. After maybe he's dropped gasoline on the ground or something. That's all I get from the statue. I really don't know. I hate that statue. I always, actually got me. Everyone was having a fucking jerk off over the sideshow one, and then looked at that and went, it's meh. And I'm like, the Prime one, even though I still, like I say, it's not as good as the Hot Toys or probably the Entebbe either. It's a fucking shit ton better than the sideshow, as in for quality. Overall finish is better. And I mean, even the jacket looks fucking better on that. But yeah, again, like I say, I do agree. It's still a bit of a missed opportunity.
Yes, it's a bit of a shame, really, considering how much it's going to go for as well. They're not going to ask a small amount. It's going to be really expensive, that piece. Anyway,
hang on. What were pictures? What was that?
Oh, okay. Let's go through and do them all then. I'll just go back to the start and do them all.
The next one you just skipped to is the one you just skipped to that had me very interested in. It looked like
we'll get back to that. This is, you can see what that is. That's Xenomorph furniture. So if you're on the lookout for some interesting chairs or tables for your humble abode, maybe you want to try this. And there you go. You can see the artist's name down there, Sebastian Karachi. And there you go. You can find him on Facebook if you want. There you go. Scare the hell out of your kids. Get a table like that, and they're bound to eat their dinner every night. Beautiful.
Well, have you got the picture there?
Which one? Oh, actually, let me put it up there. Sorry. Did I stop sharing? Did I?
There. Let's have a look.
Oh, there we are. There we go.
Oh, shit. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, pretty spooky stuff. You imagine
Yeah.
coming home one dark and stormy night and having that in your lounge room or your dining room or kitchen. Holy Jesus.
Yeah, well, yeah, definitely. They definitely give the kiddlywinks heart attack, and yeah,
God.
that is a very cool design there.
Yeah, no, it's nice. This was I come across this somewhere, I can't remember where. This is a steelbook for Back to the Future. I love this design. I just had to throw it in there because I love this design so much. We've
Yeah,
just had
that's
the
nice.
DeLorean 1/6 released from Hot Toys. Have you seen that yet, Ryan?
I have
saw
seen.
that.
Yeah.
I saw that in the store today. I saw that live in
Oh.
person. It's huge, massive. Looks
You
really
like
nice.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really like it. Really like it. Looks great.
That's good.
Yeah, and the reviews I've seen online make it look pretty good also. But that steelbook, I think it's a US steelbook of the trilogy. I might try and track that down. I like the look of that. It's beautiful. This is, pardon me? Yeah,
So
only one.
like the DeLorean, there's only one downside to what Hot Toys did. They are making another DeLorean with the the hover wheels.
Okay.
Which people thought they were going to integrate that into the one after a while because of how long, but they didn't. I don't know why. That's just
so they can make you buy it twice.
pretty much, yeah. Robbing bastards.
That's a bit of a shame. It's a really nice piece and it's big as well. It's huge. Damn thing's about I guess it's about 3 feet long. I don't know, 60 centimeters long, I would guess that. If I had to measure it, maybe 70 centimeters long. It's really big. Yeah, it's a big piece. Looks really nice as well. I couldn't believe this store had it. I don't know what they were asking for because it was in like a local game shop, video game shop. I didn't see a price tag on it, but what's I think Sideshow, what are they charging? 600 US for it, I think, something like that. So I don't know how much this shop would have been charging. They must have been charging sort of 800-900 for it. God. Anyway, I reckon it'll be around for a while. Moving on, this is the Chronicle Collectibles Genesis Arnie quarter scale statue. This is one out of the box production piece that someone got the other day. Stuff looks like it's turned out pretty well. These Chronicle collectibles come from the same factory that the Cinema Cat or the ECC stuff comes out of, so quality is usually very, very high. And it looks like it's turned out okay. Some people are sort of complaining about the eyebrow, that there's a bit of this skin colour in the eyebrow, but I think it's more the lighter hair tone that I think they're trying to go for. I don't know.
I think if I want to, I'll be truly honest, and obviously I love Chronicle Collectibles. I think they do some great stuff. But with that piece there, what you're showing me, my only gripe would be it's not the sculpt. I would say paint application, especially the big one for me more than anything is the shirt. Now, I know it's hard, but the shirt looks incredibly fake. You know, and I don't like saying that because I love Chronicle. I put out some fucking awesome shit, and the sculpt they've got for that's really well done. But for people, I don't know. There's just something to me. Paint application.
I think we might be able to fix it for you because if we skip forward, there's the profile shots. He does have a switch out hand as well. Supposedly with the ring thing that he uses towards the end of the film. There you are. He comes with this jacket as well. Now the jacket is cloth. It's like mixed media. So if you don't like the look of the shirt, you can bang his jacket on and off you go. I think that's the only shot of the shirt that I've got though. Yeah, it's the only one I've got.
Okay.
And it's got the light up effect as well. I think it turned out pretty well actually. Not something
overall,
to buy, but
Yeah.
I think it's turned out reasonably. If you're a fan of the film, and maybe something, Charlie might chin if you're out there. Bruce Campbell's chin. He maybe something he might consider getting and sticking on his Arnie shelf of awesomeness that he has or had. But that's production picks for that piece.
I think it came out pretty well so far.
Right, here's your piece that you love so much, Ryan. The Joker. You dropped for pre-order through the week. Only $500. Only $500. I don't mind it so much, but this thing here. This is why I chose this picture. This thing here.
Yeah. What about it? That. What is that? Is that what you said?
Yes. Yeah.
That, by the looks of it, looks like the detonator he has in the film.
From the end of the film, is it?
Yeah, but the bit that's thrown me kind of off there is he's in a building. So why the hell is...
That's what I thought that was. Yeah, that detonated towards the end of the film. But that's the exclusive. So if you pay, if you pre-order now, pay your NRD, this is what you're going to get. So just let folks out there know that this is your exclusive. This little fist with this little green circuit board and a little stick on it and a key. Okay, so that's the exclusive on it. And of course, when that came out, everyone just booed and hissed, and probably rightfully so. It should have been the knife, in my opinion. That seems to be his. That was his signature weapon in the film, and maybe they're holding it back for another version of this character, but probably should have been exclusive.
I just think it looks a bit, I don't know, it looks like he's holding it next to where his cock should be as well. He's sort of holding it like that, and I don't know. And it looks like also from a distance, it looks like he's bought from the post shop, he's bought one of those cheap plastic guns and he's just holding it. Like a cosplayer, it could be a kid in the streets.
And the card he's holding as well seems to be like very, very small. I don't know why.
I don't get it at all. I don't get what they were fucking thinking when pumping that out. I don't know. I really don't know.
Some people have talked about them doing a Bane from Rises, but I don't think they're going to do that. I think this will be it could be, from all the talk, the Bale Batman hasn't been a very good seller for them. That's sort of been a slow mover. With this exclusive and at $500 again, I don't think this is going to be one that's going to fly off the shelves. And Sideshow have shown in the past that if they get, pardon me, slow movers in a license, and that license doesn't last very long, they tend to put it on hold, code for cancelled. So I'd be very, very surprised if they did any more PFs from the Nolan trilogy, to be honest.
Yeah, and plus they've left it long enough as well, with it being...
absolutely. These things should have been out 5 years ago, shouldn't they?
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. This is the XM painter for Ghost Rider. 2 versions they showed on Facebook, red and yellow. Yeah, what's your take? What do you like? Red or yellow? People have been saying, the majority seem to be saying the yellow. I actually prefer the red. I think the red's a lot more striking. I prefer the red.
I would. Is the actual, I don't know, is that the Ghost Rider on the top? Is that like a different sculpt and paint?
No, it's the same sculpt. It's just reversed, just different paint app. So they're one side they've done yellow just to see how it comes out, and the other side they've done red because they're trying to determine what the final paint app is going to be, and they're also tossing up the idea of doing all these flames in resin as well, like a clearer resin. But they haven't decided, and they've put these pictures up to let people have a bit of a look at what they're doing and have a say as to what their preference is in regards to the final paint app. A lot of people seem to prefer the yellow. I like the red a bit better.
Yeah, I think the red's a bit more suiting to Ghost Rider. He's more of an orangey red.
Yeah,
plain, like.
I think there's a picture of there's the head sculpt.
Yeah, I prefer the red.
I think the red looks better, to be honest with you. I know more people seem to like the yellow, but
I mean, the one on the right looks like a bit like if He-Man stuck his face in a fucking oven and fried his face. You know what I mean? Like, just he doesn't. I don't know. Not as much for the right there. I think that I'm with you there, 100%. I think the red just makes it look so much better. Plus, I think like the orangey red to black with the suit goes nicely together.
Nice contrast, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And one other, I don't know if this is a flipped shot, but his belt. I don't know if you noticed, that's around the wrong way. That should go the other way.
Oh, yeah.
The buckle should be turned around, and the buckle should be going through towards the right of the picture. Yeah, but anyway, I don't know if they're going to change that, but that was just something small that I picked up in the pictures.
Is that sculpted on it?
And there's a full, there's a really good comparison.
So I'm just, Rob, about that belt though, is that sculpted or mixed media?
Yeah, no, I think that's, they just sculpt, they don't do any mixed media, XM. So if they're going to change it, they'd have to go back and redo, I guess. They'd have to print a new version. But I don't know, they probably mean printing the torso part, redoing this. So I don't think they're going to worry about that at this stage, though they might, who knows. But that's the full version. So you can see a nice comparison between the red and the yellow there. And,
I would do red a bit more myself.
Yeah, so do I. I prefer the red. But that's the XM Ghost Rider. I don't have that on pre-order. I'm not getting it. Not a big enough fan of the character to get that piece. And quite frankly, that's probably going to be a really expensive piece to get a hold of. So I'm going to give that a miss. That's just back again, just for you, Ryan. I know you love this piece so much. I just have to put him back in there. There he is with his toy rifle that you love so much. We'll skip past him. Oh, really small pick. Here's let's see if I can blow it up a little. This is looks pretty blocky now. Let's shrink it back down a bit. Maybe not so blocky. This is the Oni Akuma quarter scale, a work in progress from PCS. If you're a Street Fighter buff or fan, you might be interested in that. Not my cup of tea, but I know there are plenty of people out there who collect Street Fighter in a big way. It's going on really, really strong, the old Street Fighter line for PCS. So something to keep our eye on into the future. Here we have, I think this is the Prime 1 Batfleck. This is a photo under a little bit more light so people can see the detail in the costume.
Yeah, looking good.
Yeah, it looks really nice, doesn't it? All that detail looks really nice in that costume. This was an announcement from Prime 1. They're doing G.I. Joe. There you are, quarter scale, 1/3 scale from the cartoon and comics. Sideshow did do a few quarter scale pieces. A G.I. Joe, and what did they do? I think they did 3 Baroness, and they did Cobra Commander, and they did a few dioramas. And a bit like what we talked about earlier with the Dark Knight Joker, Batman, it's a line that really didn't sell quick enough for Sideshow's liking, and they put the kibosh on it, got rid of it, and looks like Prime One are going to pick it up and run with it. So if you're a G.I. Joe fan, half your luck. Looks like you're back in business.
Yeah.
You might, if you're a G.I. Joe fan, go and hunt down that Cobra Commander and the Baroness from Sideshow. We've seen these already. Okay, here's the picture you were very interested in. PCS again. This is their Judge Dredd quarter scale, all painted up, being photographed, ready for hopefully pre-order soon.
Fucking hell.
You getting it?
I need. Well, I tell you what, I'm fucking tempted.
Yeah, I think I'm going to pick it up. I think it looks, the face sculpt's a little bit, I've seen some, I wonder if I've got any. No, I don't have any more, just got that one. The face sculpts, I've seen some pictures that make it look a little bit strange, not enough Carl done in it, but I like the look of that so far. And
I'll have a look. I need to see a bit more of the face sculpt. While being a Hot Toys person, I like to have a good head sculpt. So we'll see. But the pose looks incredible.
Yeah, I like it. If it turns out okay, I will probably order one. Maybe locally, I might try and pick one up. I don't know. I don't like all the horror stories I hear about PCS and their website and all the ordering issues that people have with them. So I'll just try and pick one up locally, I think. This is PCS again, Ryu, 1/3 scale work in progress. I think this is Jerry Macaluso who's sculpting this. Really, as you can see, really early work in progress pictures of that piece. And people were asking what happened to his hair, but it's too early to really make any judgments about that. Just to know that it's coming. For those people again who collect Street Fighter, 1/3 scale Street Fighter, and this is the new and supposedly new and improved version of the Supergirl premium format figure that Sideshow are going to put out, or up for pre-order next week. It is supposedly they've tweaked the hand above her head, which I think has been tweaked twice now, and supposedly they did some work on the face sculpt. I personally can't see it. I know it looks exactly the same as what they showed before. I think she's got a slightly lighter complexion, and in taking these photos, they've just poured a lot of light on her face just to
I just saw that face.
Some of the deficiencies in it. Pardon me?
Her face looks pretty, like the paint looks a bit flat on her face, but like you say, it might be the light.
Yeah, I had a sneaking suspicion that just when they're taking these photos, they've just really poured a lot of light onto her face to maybe hide, like you might sort of think, you hide things in shadows, or you can hide just as much in a nice strong light as well. I think that's what they've done here. Anyway, everyone's still complaining about it. I think you talk about that Dark Knight Joker being a poor piece. Well, this has got to be one of the poorest pieces come out of Sideshow in a long time. You've got the hair going one way, yet the cape is going the total opposite direction. It's just like, how the hell did this thing even get off the drawing board?
I get that. I'd say personally, though, as a piece, I think that is a better piece than the Joker.
I'll take the Joker over this any day. This just looks so wrong on so many levels. Oh God, go away. Oh, there she's again. That's the sculpt they showed last year.
Yeah, look at that. That looks way better.
Or was awesome. Was it New York Comic Con or San Diego? One of the two. It might have been New York. But that
looks good.
I personally can't see much different other than a slightly differently painted complexion. They've lightened her complexion up a little bit, and poured a lot of light on these photos. Otherwise, that looks the same thing to me. I don't think that. And yeah, obviously the hand's a bit different.
Like, I think the hair's slightly different. The paint application, if it isn't the light, like you say, fucking it up, is better on the older picture.
Yeah.
She looks more real on that one there, that one that you're showing right now. That looks a lot
years
better.
old though. Oh Jesus, she looks. It's supposed to be Supergirl. She looks like Superwoman. So I don't know. Sideshow, back to the drawing board with that one, I think. But it's up for pre-order next week. They're going to throw it to the wolves. Let's see what happens. Yeah. Oh well. Did I get a picture? No, I didn't get a picture of the poster based on that. Okay. Anyway, this is the Weta Urukai from Two Towers. At Helm's Deep. This is a production piece. What you get out of the box. It's like turned out pretty well. Yeah, it's a nice piece. Lots of nice detail. Good paint apps. It's a nice gritty piece. That's all I've got of him. He's starting to ship for people who ordered him. I think he's it's 1/6 scale, all sculpts, and I think it was $300 they wanted for that piece. So
very nice. I like that pose.
Yeah, I think it's a nice piece. And it's a Shield of Rohan on the base there. It's a nice piece.
Yeah.
Not for me, but again, for those people who are collecting that line. Here's your piece. These were the pictures that XM put up for pre-order. So this is what they showed at pre-order time, the 3 head sculpts, all the switch outs, and just one from the back with the detail, cape on, front, head sculpt, again, switch out hands, switch out hands again, switch out head, and supposedly you're getting this, now you're getting this included, the shield, and again, got another switch out hand, switch out head there. So it's switch out heaven with the XM Batman.
Yeah.
And there is again.
It's looking really nice.
Yeah, that would be a nice pair. Supposedly it's sold out already. It's sold out in like no time at all. People are going crazy for it. So again, I imagine in the aftermarket he'll probably be, if anyone's trying to buy one via eBay or on one of the Facebook groups or something, you're going to pay through the nose to get it.
Yeah, that's going to be.
Yeah, very expensive piece.
Yeah.
And that's in-hand pictures of the XM Daredevil. Turned out quite nice, as XM pieces do. There's again the costume work there.
Yeah, I like the posing.
Probably again, the only thing that lets it down for me is this head sculpt. If XM have one issue, it is their human likenesses. It's okay when they're covered by a cowl or they've got something going on over the head, but as soon as they have to put the whole thing together, I don't know. There's still work in progress when it comes to head sculpts, I think. But the rest of the piece is fantastic, and unlike the Sideshow one, which we've seen over the last few weeks fall over and Daredevil's tripped and fallen over and broken himself. This piece will be as sturdy as a rock, I imagine, coming from XM. All right, these are very recent pics of the XM Electro, printed up, ready to put together. There's the head sculpt, and that's all there is of that. They're just printing it up, ready for painting and put together. This was, talking about Batman. This is the XM Joker. What are we talking about? Sort of production pictures or design pictures, if you will. Sort of, he's based on the. You can read the bio there. Japanese Yakuza, Joker, body tattoo, baseball bat with nails. Supposedly, this is going to be the base with the body and all this going on in it. Who knows if that's going to come to pass? But that's their concept for their Joker in that Batman line. Looks nice enough. Okay, so still on XM. This is we saw the Namor last week. There was a picture of it that we showed. This is the Namor in pieces, pulled apart, printed, but in bits. Have a look at the size of that base. Jesus.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
that is a huge, big base.
That's the Leviathan that goes under the Namor statue. And all those tentacles, all these tentacles come out of the side of this thing. It's oh my God. I don't know if you bought this piece, where would you put it? My God.
No idea.
Talk about,
that would be face. You'd buy it and you'd be so happy with it. And you'd buy it and you get it in your house and you go, oh my God, this is godlike. And then you get in there and you'd be like, oh, fuck. Where am I going to put it? And if you know, a lot of collectors have got kids. They're like, kids, you're fucking bunking in together. You know, this is where it's going in your room, mate. So,
this is going.
Yes, this is my new child.
Yeah.
It looks fantastic.
I look forward to the paint ups of this. I think it'll be really interesting to see how it's painted, just to see the contrast between the figure and the base. I mean, at the moment, I look at this piece and it's all base. I mean, my God, the base is, I think, so much more impressive than the figure that's going to stand on top of it. It might be a case of you get the piece in and just leave the figure in the box, leave Namor in the box, and just display the base.
Yeah, it looks fantastic, man.
There's his head there, and the rest of his body all printed up. This is Vulture, XM Vulture. So another in the Spidey villains line. There's the base for Vulture. Look at that. That looks
very nice.
Incredible. Yeah, that looks really nice. Reminds me of the Spidey Comiquette base. And the sort of the cracked effect down both sides of the window here, very reminiscent of the Spidey Comiquette, but again looks huge. But if we go back, if we look at the wingspan on Vulture, it's going to be, there's his arm. What is that, an arm or a leg? There's an arm there. You can see how huge the wingspan is, and that's quarter scale. That's a quarter scale head, so you can see how massive that wingspan is. It's enormous. Again,
it's going to be good.
Another XM piece that you're going to need plenty of real estate to display.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know how people are displaying these things, quite honestly.
Yeah, well, maybe like I say, it's not the same with like the Prime 1 people. Oh, well, here we go. We'll have to buy here as well, and I'll have them all.
Yes, have them all. God, you get them out of the box, and where the hell do you put them all?
They treat collectibles like they're Pokemon. You got to catch them all. You know that's what they're doing. No,
they stay in the box.
Yeah.
No, I guess there's one good thing you could say about the older Sideshow pieces is that they didn't have, bases that were, like that.
Yeah.
It's really nice, but God, the amount of room that something like that's going to take up in that Namor base, you'd only buy more than a couple of pieces if you had a museum. There's the head sculpt on the Vulture, and there's the alternate head sculpt. This is, oh, okay, so people have been getting their new Ryus from PCS, and people have been complaining about the sort of this yellowing effect. Supposedly it's, Jerry Macaluso said it's, you know, a sweat, a sweat effect, which I can understand, but people have been complaining that it's too yellow. It's like someone's peed all over his shirt, and things like that. So that's just a complaint that people are. There you are. There's another one there. You can see how yellow the back of his shirt is. It's like more yellow than white. It's a lot of sweat that he's putting out.
I don't think that's bad necessarily. I think the biggest strike for me, if you went back to the other picture, was the paint application on the skin, especially on the face. I think that's the drawback for me. I think people have got their problems in the wrong area for me.
I don't know. I think coming from a video game, I don't mind that so much. It's again, it's not a realistic in any way paint app, but coming from a video game character, it doesn't have to be approaching anything like that. I think it's probably painted that way to sort of replicate that sort of flat design of what you're seeing on screen, rather than going for any type of subtlety in the paint app. But that's, people are complaining about that, and there we are, back to the beginning. That's it for me.
Okay. Well, that was an excellent lineup of pictures, Rob, I must say.
No problem.
It's definitely got me interested in what's to come anyway.
Yes, I know how you're feeling about that XM Batman. Come on, Ryan.
Yes, I know. Everybody, a lot of people are like, just get it, Ryan. I'm like, yeah, just get it, just a grand. There you are on a quarter scale. No issues.
If you could pick that up for a grand, you'd be doing pretty well, I reckon.
Yeah, I'd say that too, I'd be pretty fucking on point if I had that. So I bet what I better do. Sorry, you go on.
Oh, I wonder if do you remember Russell when he came on a few times? He used to come on very, he was on the chat with Charlie. He had a few of those XM pieces. I wonder if he's going to pick it up. He might be someone who might buy that piece. But it'll be interesting to see it in hand eventually. I'm like you. I already have too many Batmen, so I don't want any more. I've got enough.
You never have enough Batman stuff. Just when it's a fucking grand a piece, then the way I look at it is, that's a grand or going to be over a grand. I paid less than that. I paid about 800 for my bust. That's fucking life size. And I know, yes, you got your switch out parts and you got all that shit. But even then, again, with a company with spot on lifelike head sculpts that have to capture a real person, quarter scale, lots of swap out parts, it's posable, it's got a base, all that, like them. And minus that one, like I said, the Hot Toys and these two did not cost us anywhere near that, And I think that's it. It's just price. A lot of it, but there's no disputing it's nice though. There's no disputing it. If anyone says that's a dreadful Batman statue, they need to get their fucking eyes tested, because
it'll be a nice piece. It's all of XM pieces. Well, I only have a few of them, but I mean, really, they haven't produced. I wouldn't say they've produced an out and out dog of a piece yet. Well, actually, I would. The Hulk, the first Hulk that they put out, that I think is a dog of a piece. I think that's a really, really bad. It's just not.
Looked a bit clay, didn't it? Like a bit like a clay.
Yeah, the head sculpt on it is all sorts of wrong. But aside, if we put that Hulk aside, everything else they've done has been nice. Not brilliant. Not everything's been sort of Magneto-like, but solid. again, except bar that Hulk. Everything else I think they've done is pretty solid. Which, I mean, most other companies have killed for that kind of record. But it's early days with them. It's early days. I'm sure they'll stumble eventually. Everyone does.
Yeah. I'd say yeah, every company has their up and downs, you know.
Absolutely.
And it's like anything. No one's perfect. No one always gets it right. So
that's right. That's right.
As long as the effort most of the time is there, that's the main thing. But yeah, so I'll tell you what. I'll put something up. I'll show something now.
Absolutely. Go right ahead.
So we'll have a look. I'll just go share. In a sec. Okay. So here we are on the Hot Toys page, and I've got two things I can show you on here. So this is one of the Hot Toys booths, basically, they've had. Some pictures, hopefully it loads. Here we are. So they've had a bit of a convention for Batman v Superman.
Yeah.
So what they've done is they've shown off their 1/6 stuff and their 1/4 scale. So they actually built a life-size Batmobile. So that's Hot Toys that have done this.
What do you think of that Batmobile?
I absolutely love it. I think it's a fantastic design. I think it's a nice combination. In a way, some people have said it's a combination between the Tumbler and the '89 Batmobile, which I kind of can see where they're coming from.
But you can definitely see that profile. That hatch has got the '89 all over it with the Tumbler wheels. Yeah, so you can definitely see those two designs in that piece.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to jump to conclusions yet, but other than the '89, I love the Tumbler. I like the Tumbler, don't get me wrong. I have a Hot Toys piece of it, so obviously I like it. But this could be one of the best looking Batmobiles we've had on modern anyway. I do like it a lot. They've also done life-size stuff. So this is the Wonder Woman, and the head sculpts on it's fantastic. I'm just going to see if we can try and get a closer look. I don't know if you can see that. Wow. Yeah, and they absolutely nailed her. And everyone's pumped now because they can't wait to see the 1/6 scale version because this is looking this good already. Yeah, people are getting very excited. So, and there's the Henry Cavill again. Head sculpt looks amazing. Get a bit, and then here they've built this as well. So this is life size. So this is what they'll be shipping out. That's that life. Yeah. So you're just looking at that, and you're already getting a gauge of what sort of size you're looking at with these pieces. It's just insane, absolutely insane. Love it. And then they've done this here.
Yeah.
It's like the suit, and there's and also this sort of hints of what could possibly come along in 1/6 scale form. Obviously, they've done like the bat suit for the Bale in the past, and they've done like the kit. So you can imagine this coming out in 1/6 scale form, along with this, because they've done this is very similar to like the Iron Man stuff they did, and they have released these little stands for the Iron Man.
Yes.
So
like the closet the Iron Man stands in.
Yeah, and then obviously here's the scene. I think it's when he drops down in the film. They've just tried to recreate that. There we are, showing a bit more. So this is their Cos Baby line. So this is like they got like these little cartoony looking figures, and they're doing them really cool little designs, and really well done. If I'm right, that's the. I don't know if that's the. I'm not sure if that's the Cos Baby one or that's the Hot Toys Batmobile in there. So yeah, and then here's all the fans waiting to go in.
Wow.
So yeah, this was. I'm pretty sure this was in Hong Kong. So it's a massive. And now here here's a Hot Toys display. So this is the Hot Toys Batmobile right here, with the Hot Toys Batman and the Hot Toys Superman in this diorama. So, which looks awesome. And the Batman is coming out really good. Really happy with him. They've done some cool stuff. So again, another display. So they've got Superman obviously flying, and then obviously they've got Batman. And this is actually going to be you're going to be able to buy this. So you can actually buy the bat signal. So that's always cool.
You want to be able to buy the whole environment.
I know. It looks fantastic.
Yeah, the whole of the industrial environment. That the whole thing would be nice.
Yeah.
The signal lamp.
Yeah, you can buy that. That's going to be up for pre-order. I'm not sure if it already is. But yeah, so I mean that would be a cool display just there. You know, having him obviously switch on the light and standing next to it like he does in the trailer, and I'm sure like in the film. Now they've done a little bit of an attempt here to do like the grapnel bit there. That looks great. Yeah, so like midway through, the Batman looks incredible. I'm really happy with how it's turned out. Then here's the Batmobile. So it's obviously with the cockpit up. So this is really nice, and it's going to have light up on the inside as well. Now this brings me to my bat figure of the week. Now this here, I can get some better pictures in a bit, but this is a variant of the armored Batman, and what it is it's a chrome version.
Oh wow!
So basically, so they've done it so it's like chrome, and it looks fantastic. It really is nice. I don't know whether I'll get it, but it's a really nice variant, you know. And
how much is that going to go for? Do you know?
It's going to go for. I'm pretty sure it's not much different than the average price, but it may go up afterwards with it being an exclusive. So that's the general rule. It usually skyrockets once it's on the second-hand market, especially like say exclusive. So yeah, and then they've also done the same with these. These are these Cos babies that they've been doing. So they've got the different versions here. So they're cool little collectibles if you're just into that sort of stuff. And they've also done this one with the Cos baby Batwing, which I think looks fantastic. I love it. I think it's really, really cool.
I love that expression on his face.
I know it's fantastic, isn't it? It's just so funny and
it looks like he's taking a dump or something.
Yeah, yeah. It looks hilarious, and definitely looked like a lot of fun. So here he is again, and they've done the little Batmobile here, which is cool as well. And I'm pretty sure, I don't know, not 100%, but I think you can pop him in the top. That looks like a bit there, like that should open. So they've done that, and then they've done also Bruce Wayne. And I also like this as well, what they've done. They've done this Jason Todd display setup, like in the trailer, and obviously jokes on you, Batman.
The suit in the little cupboard thing behind.
Yeah, here, yeah, again.
Yeah.
Cool little design there. You come down, hopefully. So here.
They want their own version of one of those pop vinyl figures, don't they?
Yeah, yeah. But I really like them. I think they're really funny. You know.
Yeah, understandably so. I mean, whenever I go into any local sort of comic shops, those pop vinyl figures, you know, they've got walls of them, and people are just walking up to them and just picking 2, 3, 4 of these things off at a time. It's just,
yeah,
geez.
Yeah. It's, like I said, I think they'll be big sellers. I don't know if you can see there, they're selling them also in packs like that.
Oh yeah.
So for a price, obviously you can have them all in the one like that, and then obviously I don't know if these. I think these are just exclusive for people that went there, but they're like cuddly ones.
Yeah.
So they're really cool, and then I've got like a rucksack there, and just a few little things for the premium, like the guy being in there really, you know. And then here again, they got like the Cos Baby pillows they've been doing. It is really funny again. And then I'm not sure if that's just a helmet you can just wear or something. I'm not entirely sure, but that's, you know, interesting. Well, here we are. Looks like a fucking cookie jar or something there. I'll fucking have that.
Mug or something.
That's what I'm pre-ordering this week, people. You know, Cos Baby cookie jar. That's it. Fuck yes. So, yeah, well, you know, you've got some funny stuff. And then here we are. This is just a bit more of the convention and how they've got them all set up again. So they are really pushing these little Cos Babies. And they got the Cos Baby keyring. Yeah, so they're all into this shit. And then, again, some of this is just exclusive stuff, I think, if you're at the event. So that's that. And I'll just get back to the product. And I will give you a closer look at this Chrome Batman, so we'll get some better pics. And you can make up your own mind what you think of it. But I personally think there's a chocolate one, which is like a different sort of colour. Not as much for that one, but the Chrome I definitely like. And also another big announcement is Hot Toys have finally released and announced that they're doing a Drax. So I'll quickly just show you Drax while we're here. And they finally, after fighting the rights for what's his name? Oh God, what's his bloody name? I've gone blank, but you know, the actor who plays him obviously plays Drax. They finally got his rights, and the head sculpt's turned out really well. I think that they've nailed his likeness. And I think the overall, I'm glad they haven't gone with the rubberized body, because rubberized body just generally tends to fuck up.
All sorts of horror stories about those.
Yeah, so I'm glad, and their joints are very well hidden as well into the sculpt, which I'm really happy that they've managed to do that. And like I say, the physique seems on point. And they've also, if you notice, there's different trousers as well. So they've got the normal, like these ones, and then they've got like the Guardians of the Galaxy, like sort of more costume, this sort of uniform one. So it comes with obviously
the guy who plays him.
That's it, Dave Bautista. There we are. I don't know why I couldn't remember his name, but that's he's there with the daggers, getting in some decent poses, you know. And here he is with the rest of the Guardians collection, and obviously right there, just looking at that at a display, you think that looks pretty awesome. And we've got all of these, and like the Gamora and that, and the Star-Lord. Yeah, they all look incredible. Head sculpts are spot on all of them. You know, here's the details again. And all of these as well, Rob, they're actually like raised like they are in the film. So like proper raised tattoos.
Yeah, it's good. The tattoos hide a lot of the seams as well in the shoulders and arms and things. So I like that.
Yeah,
it works. Hide the seams. That's always a good thing for me.
Yeah, and I think they've nailed that in that department. You know, just getting that all right. So yeah, all I can say is well done to them for that. And just like so, people are just happy that he's coming out now. And like I say, he comes with the rocket launcher, like at the end of the film. And I think that is pretty much it for him. But yeah, he's a piece, and you know, most people have been excited for, because everyone's a Guardians of the Galaxy. Funny part is a lot of people have sold their Guardians of the Galaxy collection due to the fact that they don't like to have a piece missing from a line. You know, they like to complete everything. Yeah. And now they're spewing because now the Drax has been announced, so they're not very happy.
Yeah, it's always a sort of a funny thing, isn't it? Sort of, you know, Hot Toys. Yeah. Known for dropping lines, maybe a little bit like Sideshow, doing half a team, and then except when it comes to Iron Man, of course, where they do everyone and anyone they can think of.
Yeah,
always
that's it. Batista, they've had to fight for the rights of his likeness because of WWE, I think it is. Been holding on to it. So that's always been a bit of a problem for them. But here, anyway, here we are with the Chrome Batman. This is my Bat figure of the week because I think it looks incredible. And as you can see, it's got that very chrome finish. It's almost translucent as well. So this is obviously, like I say, it's going to be an exclusive. And I think a lot of people are saying it's trying to simulate, in a way, the rainy scene in the trailer, where obviously Batman and Superman confront one another, and obviously he's all very shiny. I just think, as far as exclusives go, I would buy this. It's very nice, and even though it's something as simple as a chrome effect, it just adds something to it. It's just a really, really nice looking piece. And like I say, you got the head sculpt there that looks incredible. And obviously all the details there, it's just insane what they're doing. And the likeness is obviously there, you can tell.
Yeah. They always get their likenesses, don't they?
Yeah, it's very, very rarely you buy a Hot Toys figure and something beats it, that is very rare, But yeah, they're just knocking him out of the park at the moment. But like I say, this Batman v Superman line, I'm just praying to God the film's good, and then put the pre-order.
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? How's the film going to be? Because you can imagine if the film is a pile of stinking feces, then poor Chrome Batman's going to sit on the shelf for a long time to come.
Yeah, I mean, I have a good feeling about the film. I think it could be good. I think it's got a potential to be really good. But it's like anything, really, isn't it? It's like the new Star Wars and everything. Before you get into anything, you just want to make sure it's good.
Yes, especially when it's a film property. You want to watch it just to make sure before you jump in and start buying pieces left, right, and centre. And I'm sure everyone who collects these Hot Toys pieces is doing exactly that. Have they put this up for pre-order yet, or is it?
Yes, I'm pretty sure it's at Sideshow. You can pre-order it now.
Oh, okay. So, how much are they charging for that?
Oh God, I'm not entirely sure. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll just back out of this now, so I'll stop sharing. And that stops. Am I back on the screen now?
Yeah, you are.
Hang on, just a second. Actually, come back. I'll search that on my iPad. Just a second.
No problem.
I can't remember if I was told it was a slight bit more. Or it might be the same price. I'm not sure with this this Chrome. A lot of people are quite torn now because they like the Chrome look, but they want the accurate one. So you can sort of understand. I mean, if you're one of these buggers that like Sean Long or somebody like that buys them all, buys every variant of every figure, and then obviously you can get them all, but for someone like myself, I'll probably go with the more screen accurate version, personally.
Hang on. Have to make a choice. Can't catch them all.
That's it. So here we are. So it's $250 US at the moment.
$250.
Yeah, US. So that's
not bad at all.
No.
Not bad at all. I thought it would have been a bit more than that, to be honest.
That's the thing though with like exclusives. They start off pretty good, and then it's when they after the aftermath usually the hardest to get hold of.
Through. Yeah.
Yeah. So. Yeah. And like I say, like everything, it depends on how the film's going to pan out and all that sort of stuff. There's many factors. that are going to obviously determine whether it's going to sell and how much it's going to be and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, and I think what Hot Toys are doing at the moment is great, and I'm really happy with this life-size stuff that they're pumping out as well. It looks really good. And I don't have the picture of me now, but I saw a picture closer up of that Wonder Woman, and Jesus Christ, it's scary, the detail, you know, on the face. It's just really, really impressive. And yeah, you know, it's just, I'm just stoked, really. And the one thing I like about this new Batman v Superman, and I don't know if you feel the same, but I like the design of everything, you know. They've really gone, like, really dark, but, like, very Frank Miller.
Yes, very Frank Miller.
Yeah, it's very Frank Miller, and I feel like that they've sort of, you know, they've just, I don't know, just something about the design. Even though I know I love Keaton, I love Keaton's design, and I don't mind Bale's design either. I think it's good. I think this is like the first time this is like it could be the closest we get to the Batman, you know what I mean? Like the perfect balance. And it might be, like I said, the most comic accurate Batman we get on the big screen. So, but like anything, we have to wait and see. Can't jump to conclusions until the film is out. We won't have to
wait much longer, will we? It's only a couple of weeks now until it comes out.
Yeah, I've heard. Well, this is when it comes to the film. I've heard a few things about it. A lot of it is saying that the early indications that people have been to see it have been good, and people have liked it. Even with from people who didn't like Man of Steel, which again for me is a mystery why people don't like Man of Steel. I love that film. Like, well done. So we'll just have to see. But like I say, I'll reserve my judgment for when I go see the film, not what some mob says on the internet.
Yes, absolutely.
Because, you know, I mean, obviously the sheep, regardless how it turns out, will either follow whether the general thing is it's good or it's bad. But myself, I'll go and judge myself. And yes, but I think on the topic of films, we'll just cut back. You know how we were talking about Ghostbusters earlier, and obviously, you know,
we'll go full circle.
Old. Yeah. How, personally, to you, do you think movies need to come up with something new? Do you think films nowadays are too focused on trying to recapture the past and not trying to carve something new and original for people to look back in many years and go, hey, this is really cool? What do you think?
Oh, geez, Ryan, that's a question that opens not a can of worms, but a gigantic bucket of worms, a 44-gallon drum of worms when you talk about sort of a question like that, because that really goes to not, I wouldn't couch it in terms of superhero movies as such, but more the way Hollywood works as a business now. And Hollywood has been totally corporatized. We don't, you know, aside from some of the mini majors who still have heads of studio that really are interested in films for film's sake. The major studios now, Universal, Paramount, Warner's, Fox, Disney, they're all corporate entities, and corporate entities are only interested in one thing, and that is, of course, money. And they're going to, you know, again, it's sort of talking about Ghostbusters. Why is Ghostbusters being remade as it is? Purely, you know, for the dollar. No other reason. That's it. And it's like anything. It reminds me what we're going through now with all the comic book movies. It's cyclical. I mean, you go back 60, 70 years, and Hollywood was churning out Western after Western. Yeah, it was the thing that everyone was doing. It was cheap to do. They were very profitable for the studios back then. You know, we had Star Wars come along and Jaws. These types of films, you know, changed the paradigm again. And you know, we're still essentially living through what Jaws and Star Wars started back in the mid-70s. So for me personally, if we sort of think about, you know, the comic book films now and the amount of them, I would prefer to see more original material, but I understand that that's not the way Hollywood works at all. It's, you know, the sort of the golden era of Hollywood was considered to be the changeover period from the late 60s to about the mid 70s, the era of Jaws and Star Wars. And that is what happened through that period was the old studio heads who basically had sole control of those major studios were all either dying or they were selling the companies to multinational corporations. And you had this period, it was only a very short period, where the director, because these multinationals were coming in and and these film studios were starting to be run by lawyers and accountants who really didn't have a background in film, they were handing over a lot of control of the content of their studios to the directors who did understand film. But and for a while that worked, and you had a period, a run of films through that late 60s to the mid 70s of what is considered the golden era of Hollywood, or a second golden era of Hollywood. We won't talk about the first one, but you know, where you had just in any one year through that sort of 68 up to about 70, 77, you had, you know, 10, 12 classic films being produced every year. Now we're lucky to get, you're lucky to get one or two really, really classic films being produced in a year now, as far as I'm concerned, that are really memorable and last. You know, we've just had the Oscars. Spotlight won. Spotlight's a decent film, but is it going to be remembered in, you know, 5 years, 10 years time? It'll probably be remembered like Crash is remembered, as a Best Picture winner that probably shouldn't have won Best Picture. That's what it'll be remembered for. I don't think it's a groundbreaking film or a particularly memorable film in any way, but the Academy deems it important for its subject matter. But anyway, coming back to the original idea, you know, through that period you had that change, and because directors had that control, what started to happen was their budgets were going up and they were spending a lot of money, but they were being relatively successful. There was a few very notable failures in Michael Cimino's Heaven's Gate, Francis Ford Coppola's, his, you know, self-financed film One from the Heart. I don't know if you know that, and a few other notable failures as well along the way. Steven Spielberg's 1941, I don't know if you've seen that, was a film that was very, very expensive, that basically flopped at the box office, was a big disaster for Spielberg. He made that in between Close Encounters and Raiders of the Lost Ark. You know, these were three films that cost a huge amount of money to make, especially Heaven's Gate, that's almost, you know, that nearly bankrupted the studios they were made for. So after that happened, the studios clamped down on these directors who were making these films, and everything became very homogenized, and we basically are where we are at now. Again, I would like more original material, but I understand why it's not perhaps being produced. And if it is being produced, you'll find it on HBO and these, you know, Netflix and Amazon Studios. That's where you'll find more original content being produced now, where the showrunners of television have a little bit more control over the material. Again, because they're doing it for much less money than a feature film gets made for. I would like to see more original content, but I understand why it doesn't happen.
Yeah,
It's not going to change anytime soon.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, you know. In this day and age, I just feel like myself with films, even though there's good films coming out there, where, you know, like you were on about there in the golden age, one thing the golden age did was they didn't look back and go, hey, let's try and recreate what was good back then. They went, no, let's push the boundaries, you know, let's do something that hasn't been done. Let's pioneer, and that's the thing these days. And like you were on about with this Spotlight, I've not personally seen the film, but I understand where you're coming from. It's not pioneering anything. It's not revolutionizing. I think the last film to revolutionize film or movies is Avatar. That film, regardless whether you like that film or you don't, that is the last time really we have seen something revolutionize films. So say 3D, for example. 3D has never had the same effect on any other film than that film when it came out. You know, no one's been able to recapture the amazement of what that film brought, you know. And even the second Avatar film, this new one that's coming out, probably won't be able to capture the magic of the first one due to that. You know, I think a lot of, like I say, a lot of our films are superhero films, and a lot of them, Star Wars, Jurassic Park, all that, they're all sequels, and yes, they're good. They've been executed well. But like you say, they're all tributes to older films instead. It's like Spielberg's on about dragging Indiana Jones out again and having Chris Pratt playing, and I'm just like, leave it alone, you know. Come up with something new. Yeah, I mean, do something.
Hollywood, because it's so expensive to make a feature film now, I think the average budget on a Hollywood production is, I think, north of $90 million now. That's an average production. It's not the most expensive. That's an average film, 90 million. When they're taking that kind of risk, they're looking for something that is already that's easy to sell, and nostalgia is easy to sell, and hence why they keep coming back to the well and revisiting these same properties over and over and over again. And you know, to be honest, it's really, really, you have to be. I mean, you talk about Avatar. The only reason that film got made was because it was James Cameron who was making it.
Yeah.
And James Cameron, the last film he'd made before Avatar was Titanic. And Titanic made so much money that he was basically got a blank check from Fox to do whatever he wanted. You know, and he's got a very good track record at the box office, doesn't he? I mean, everything he's made has made money, probably bar The Abyss. And even that didn't lose money for Fox. It broke even in the end. But he's got a really good track record at the box office, and he'd just come off Titanic. I mean, if it had been anyone else, the studios would not have made that film.
And if you think about it as well, he's if you look back, he's a pioneer in his own way. He is, in a way, because he did Terminator 1. Terminator 1 was awesome. But when he did Terminator 2, Terminator 2 was a different film again, you know. One reason everybody loves Terminator 2 more than Terminator 1 is because it changed everything, you know.
I don't love Terminator 2 better than 1. I love 1. I think 1 is the better film.
You reckon? Oh.
Yeah.
Personally...
I think 1 is by far the better film. They're both good, but I think 1 is the better film.
Yeah, I personally prefer number 2. That's just me. But I do like number 1. I do think number 1 is very sort of swept under the carpet. Like, no one really talks about number 1 as much as they should. Because obviously that was where it was.
Love it.
Where it
was a great film. And it was made for no money. It was, you know, done almost guerrilla style. It's a miracle that film turned out as well. And that first Terminator, that really illustrates the talent that James Cameron's got, that he was able to pull that film off for the amount of money that he had and the shooting schedule he had on it. And the fact, when you got to remember, that film starred no one. Arnold Schwarzenegger was, you know, he'd been in Conan, he'd been in Pumping Iron, he'd done, you know, he was known, but he wasn't a huge star. This is the film that made him the household name, that made him the star. So, you know, it's a miracle. When you go back and look at the sort of what James Cameron had on that film in terms of resources, that film turned out as well as it did, and it's a cracking film. It's a great film. You want to know how to. Anyone wants to know how to do exposition in a film? Go and watch the first Terminator. It does exposition beautifully. Exposition being information, plot. It does it really, really well. Or if you look at that film, all the plot beats are done while the characters are in motion. They're always driving or running, or they're moving somewhere. There's always something happening around them as all this plot information is being delivered. It's a great film. It's a great film, and I love the tone of it as well. It's dark, it's gritty, it's got a feel that maybe only Aliens has got of his other films. Again, it's sort of another film that was made for not much money and on tight schedules, and
and like so Aliens, you know, I'll say Terminator 1, Terminator 2, people love both of those films, you know. He did, you know, and for some people on the second, people think he bettered the first. So that's a good track record just to have, you know. Especially like you said, Terminator 1 is a fucking cracking film. Then you've got, well, Ridley Scott, who did obviously Alien 1. Alien 1's a good film. I really love that film. It's where it all started, and you can't take that away. But Aliens, James Cameron, I prefer Aliens just because I don't know what, I think it was the characters and also like just the idea of them being sort of trapped, you know, with all these fucking aliens. It was just awesome. And you know, that's again, he went and bettered. In my opinion, anyway, he bettered the first film, which is very hard to do, especially nowadays. It's very rare you get a sequel that betters the first. Very rare.
That's always been a rare thing. I mean, the amount of sequels that are better than the first one, you could probably count on your fingers, to be honest with you. It's a very, very rare thing. Very rare.
That's it. And, you know, I think there are a few films that are, the second one is better. Like, I think, like, the best one would be another director which I'm really big fan of is Guillermo del Toro. I like Blade 2 more than Blade 1. I liked Blade 1, but I preferred Blade 2. It was just the wit in it, and the action was a bit more fast-paced, and even though it was still fast in the first one, there was just something I liked more about Blade 2. Blade 2 sticks in my mind. That all the coolest shit in the Blade universe is always from that film. So again, that's another sequel film that's good. But going back to James Cameron, if you look back at all the films he's done, in some way he's or pioneered something. He's either bettered something or come up with something new. I mean, like you said, even though it didn't have the budget of what T2 had, Terminator 1 in its time was like nothing been done like it. Nothing. Again, Aliens, even though Alien 1 had happened, he took the concept of Alien and completely just did something new with it. And again, that's the genius of it. You look at Alien 1 and you look at Alien 2, and yes, they're in the same sort of, you know,
universe.
Or the same universe, but they are two completely different films. And awesome in their own right. But something about James Cameron, what he did with the second one, for me, like having the characters such as Hicks and Newton, all those characters, Hudson and all those sort of characters, they just, and that's the thing, some of the characters don't even last that long in the film, but you remember them. They're they're iconic. The things they say, they do. The idea that the general is like less experienced than the Marines, and he sent them into this like place where it's swarming with aliens, but they can't fire because if they fire, they'll fucking set off like the reactor and all that. It's like crazy shit like that, and you're like, oh fuck. I mean, you watch that for the first time, and you're like, oh no way, really? And it's not like a stupid plot decision of the film. It's sort of like just a scenario. You know, it feels real how they did it, and the reactions were all very
real. It was real. He didn't have the money. If you go back and look at the film, you know when Ripley's standing on the gantry at the end and the refinery is blowing up behind her, all those plates, the model plates were all shot on 35 mil. Now, usually those plates are shot on 70 mil because you get more resolution out of a 70 mil image, and it's better for compositing, because when you composite those shots together, as they had to do back then, every time you composite a shot, in essence, you degrade the quality of the film down the line, the amount of composites that you have to do, and 35 mil plates don't hold up. And if you actually look at Aliens, all those plates are really grimy and dirty, and they're just not very good. But he had to shoot 35 mil plates for all his effect shots because he didn't have the money to shoot 70 mil plates. Now that's how low budget the film was. He didn't have enough money to even shoot 70 mil plates, which is like crazy for, you know, what's considered a sort of a major Hollywood production. And I think the one thing that you can sort of say about those films is, you know, they've all stood the test of time. You know, you can go and watch something like Aliens today and it still works. You know, it's, what is it? That was 87, was it 86, 87 when that came out? It's now, what are we going on? It's, what, 30 years old. 30 years old and it still works. That's right there. That's all you need to know. You know, if it stands the test of time, then it's quality. So it's got to be doing something right. If it's, you know, 30 years later, people are still watching it, people are still enjoying it, people are still talking about it, and filmmakers are still referencing it in their own films that are being made today. That's the sign of quality. And, you know, whatever people say about James Cameron as a person, and plenty of stuff's been written about him, he's a bit of a tyrant. You know, the work he will leave speaks volumes of the guy in terms of his ability as a filmmaker. And, you know, for me, his two best films are the first Terminator and Aliens. I still regard those as the best films that he's made. They're just absolutely crackingly good films, both of them. They are so good. And again, made much like when George Lucas made Star Wars. You know, they were made when he was young, when he was hungry, when he was passionate, and he didn't have everything he wanted at his beck and call. They were made, you know, under some duress, and the guy had to be creative to solve problems that were happening, you know, both before the film was made and as the film was being made. And that's, you know, they are great films.
Totally, I say, totally agree. I mean, I don't know if you can see, I've got my T1 Arnie there.
Yes, I can see.
Police shootout scene. I think that's one of the best scenes in the film, most iconic anyway, I think.
I've got the T1 PF as well in the other room. It's
very nice.
Yeah, no, it's a great film. That's a great film, and you know, it's something that's really, you know, not talked about so much. The performances of Michael Biehn as, you know, Kyle Reese, and the energy and the grittiness that he brings to that. He really sells the whole notion that he's a soldier from the future. He has, you know, that hollow sort of, that look in his eyes throughout the film. He looks like he really has been in a sort of nuclear holocaust and seen these machines rise and, you know, take out humanity. It's a performance that, as much as everyone talks about, you know, Schwarzenegger has the presence in the film, but it's Michael Biehn who really, he's the really unsung hero of that film in terms of selling it. He really sells it. It's it's a great movie. Everyone, there's not a bad performance in that film. Not a bad performance in it. It's a great film. It really is.
Yeah, it's like say, and on the topic again of films, when it comes to, obviously we're talking about coming up with something new and that, and obviously today the big thing in the movie industry and pop culture in general is superheroes. It's there's a superhero movie coming out every other year, and in your opinion, I'd like to get your thoughts on this. I know my thoughts, but do you think superhero collectibles, with it being in the collectible market, are not selling as well due to the saturation of superhero films, basically, and like in pop culture in general? The fact that we've got so much stuff now with superheroes, and even though obviously it's popular, do you think people now are starting to feel the fatigue of superhero films now? Do you reckon there's a bit of fatigue starting?
I can answer that very, very easily. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
your question sums it all up.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. It's and again, we know why film studios keep pumping them out. We know why collectible companies keep pumping them out, because they make money. But eventually there will, someone will make one of these films. It will be hideously expensive. It will flop, and the next fad will come along, and the gravy train will keep on rolling. Personally, I think that how many of these films are we getting a year now? Is it 3 or 4 superhero films that we're getting a year now? It's
well, this year we've had we're having Civil War,
Deadpool, Batman, Ant-Man. Not Ant-Man. We've had Deadpool already, haven't we? So
that's 3 there. Suicide Squad.
Yeah, 4 already.
So 4 in 1 year. Yeah, it's
there's probably something we've missed. I'm sure there's something we've missed.
Yeah, I'm trying to actually.
You combine that with the television shows as well. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Gotham, Jennifer Jones, or whatever it was. The
Devil
one. What was the Hayley Atwell one where she plays the chick? I can't remember. She's Steve Rogers' girlfriend in Captain America.
Agent Carter.
Agent Carter. Yeah, there's that. I mean, we've just sort of rattled off the top of our head 4 films, 4 TV shows, and there's Arrow and Daredevil and Supergirl, and there we are. There's another 3 of them straight up.
Yeah.
If that's not saturation, then I don't know what is.
Yeah. I think the only one thing I like about Gotham compared to the rest of them is the fact that even though it's set in the world of Batman, it's not necessarily a superhero show. It's about ordinary people in this weird world. If you know what I mean? That's the whole.
It's sort of more police procedural than superhero related.
Yeah,
that's all of that.
Yeah, and it's about, like, obviously what life in Gotham was like, or how it got to the point where obviously you needed Batman. And I think that's why I like Gotham more than, say, like The Flash. Where The Flash, I watch The Flash and I'm like, oh god, this is just fucking ridiculous. The fact is, why he looks like a fucking cosplayer as well. Just
I'll be honest with you, I don't watch any of those shows, because to me it's like Flash, Green Arrow. I mean, really, you could take one character and interchange it with another, and I mean, they're all telling similar stories, similar ways. If you've seen sort of one, then I don't really need to watch the others. But maybe I'm just getting old and jaded and cynical, probably. And going back to that idea of films now and the idea of originality. One other thing I'll say about that is, and I guess it applies to this whole notion of superhero films as well, is that the generation of filmmakers that are making films now, the sort of popular films, they're like my age, and they grew up watching the same films I grew up watching. And when they're making these films and they're referencing maybe on purpose or maybe not so much on purpose, but when they're referencing other films, because this is all they know, they're trained as filmmakers and they don't have a wide vocabulary, they're not widely read. There's a whole, they're referencing stuff I have seen and everyone my age has seen. And when I watch some of these films now, it's a case of I sit there and I go, oh, wow, that shot's from that film, or that scene, I've seen that in this film, or I've seen that in another film. Because, like I said, they're of my age. They grew up with the same stuff I grew up with. And, it's not the seams, in essence, aren't invisible anymore. And again, it's very hard to do that. I admit it's not an easy thing to do when you're playing with that much money and you've got that much pressure on you from the studio, and it is a very hard thing. I mean, I'll leave it with this. We've got Independence Day 2 coming out, and the producer on that, what was his name? Roland Emmerich, and Roland Emmerich's the director, and I've forgotten the guy's name. I'll look him up. Anyway, he was giving a lecture about filmmaking, and he was asked, how hard is it to make a good film? And he said, oh, yeah, it's really hard. And the questioner asked, Dean Devlin, that's his name. There we are. Dragged it off the top of my head. Dean Devlin is the producer of Independence Day. He was giving a talk and he said, this is how hard it is to make a really good film. Okay, imagine having a dart. Okay, you've got a dartboard 10 meters away on the wall. You've got to throw the dart down the room and hit the dartboard dead center. Okay, that's how hard it is. But while that's happening, you've got in front of you every meter, the dartboard 10 meters away, every meter you've got a little circle like this big. Okay, so you have to throw the dart down the 10-meter hole, get it through every little circle, and it's got to hit dead center, okay, of the board. But while you're throwing the dart down the hall at 10 meters long to get it into the center of the dartboard through the little hoops, the hoops are moving concentrically like this. So you've got to throw the dart, get it through all the hoops as they line up with each other, and get it in the middle of the dartboard down the end of the hall, which is 10 meters away. And that's how we described how hard it is to make a really, really good film. And I think I always remember him telling that story, and it is that hard. So that's, if I can sort of put it in a very simple term or describe it in a simple way, that's how hard it is to make a genuinely great film. It's that hard. It is like lightning in a bottle. So I can understand why it's done, but it's not to my liking. But that's why I guess I collect Blu-rays and DVDs and laser discs and things like that, because I can get a whole heap of films that I wouldn't be able to see otherwise anywhere else, and that give me the range that I'm looking for in my own life.
Yeah. I think you're on point there. Like everything you just said there is, I can imagine. I think that's it. We all sit here as our little audience members and like, make a good movie, but we don't know. It's like creating an album or for music and things like that. It's easy to get your first good one out, and when you, like you say, your idea, you're younger, you're fresh, you're in your mind, you're like say, you're hungry. But once you get, it's always hard to better that benchmark. And I think, the only way to do that is is to do something dangerous, something stupid, something risky. But obviously, with, like you say, big budget companies, they're not designed in that way. All they do is they play it safe, and it's still quality, but they don't like to go out of certain like boundaries. I mean, it was like, as you were saying a few weeks ago when we were on about The Thing and all that sort of stuff, all had very strange music and had a very strange plot. And in the time, they didn't do as well. It was only till later on people started to appreciate, obviously.
Even something like that.
You know, and I think that's it. I mean, it's like Marvel films. I watched Avengers Age of Ultron yesterday. I rewatched it after, this is the second time, well, first time I've seen it since going to see it on the cinema. And I will admit, I enjoyed it a lot more this second time. I picked up on a few things because of obviously the last time I've seen it and I know what's going on. So I will admit, I enjoyed it. And it's not a bad film in any way. I like the film, but still prefer the first. And still prefer like something like Guardians of the Galaxy personally. But I look back at all the Marvel films now, and even though they're all really good, and they are, most of them are, apart from The Dark World. Thor: The Dark World was, that's where you start. That was a bit of a weird film. But the rest for me, I really enjoyed. But I think it's what you said about that Spotlight. Now, obviously, I can't judge Spotlight, but what you said about it is they're good films and you enjoy them, but will they be? Well, if they didn't have this massive empire, would they be remembered if they didn't have this massive empire? Now, some yes, for sure, but the one thing that helps these, and this is why they like to get the train going, is because once a line is started, they've got the support that the fact, everything's going to be explained. It's like the new Star Wars film. If you think about it, the film's good. It's not a terrible film. It's not a mediocre Star Wars film. It's a really good Star Wars film, and in my opinion, one of the best. But there are choices in that film that I don't think were J.J. Abrams' choices. It would have been studio choices, like unanswered questions, basically. But the reason they do that is because they know, well, people are going to come and watch the second one anyway, and we've got, 8 and 9 in production, so that's going to be answered then. Whereas back then, when, like, say, like you were about Terminator and things, they never had. Back then, you were lucky to, get a sequel. A sequel. You make the film first, and then if it did well, then you get the sequel. But nobody before a film came out went, hey, now we're going to plan this sequel, because you never knew how it was going to pan out. If you look at a lot of Spielberg's films as well, minus, obviously, well, you can count Jaws in a way, and minus...
Spielberg's never been one to do sequels so much. He's sort of shied away from, he does the Indiana Jones ones with Lucas. Well, who knows what's going to happen there now, but even what was it, Lost World, Jurassic Park Lost World is something that he pretty much disowns now. And from what I know, Spielberg, his name is on the director's credit, but he only directed about 35% of the movie, from what I've been told. It was the writer David Toy, not David Toy. What's his name? He wrote Spider-Man, and he wrote War of the Worlds. He wrote Secret Window. He directed Secret Window with Johnny Depp in it. I've forgotten his name, David something or other. Supposedly, he wrote Lost World. Supposedly, he directed the bulk of that film. And that's why it's so bad.
Yeah.
It's not something Spielberg was off doing production on Armistead at the time.
Yeah.
Let me find his name.
All right, I think Lost World's the worst of the Jurassic Park films. I mean, I know some people like to shitbag the third one, but I quite enjoyed the third one. I
don't mind the third one. I think the third one's certainly much better than the second one. At least it's short and gets to the point. And David Koepp, that's who he is.
Yeah.
David Koepp. He's a Hollywood screenwriter who does great set piece, does really good set piece, but he's shithouse at character and shithouse at theme and shithouse at subtext, but he does great set piece, and Hollywood loves great set piece. Supposedly he directed the bulk of that film, and Spielberg only directed he directed chunks of it here and there, and he was supposedly doing, I think, like I said, I think he was in pre-production on Amistad, which is, I think, the film he made after Lost World. That's what I've heard anyway.
Yeah.
Why it's not so great.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, out of the Jurassic Park films, the second best one for me is World. Jurassic World is probably the best sequel we've got. And also, again, that Colin Trevorrow, he was a good director, and I watched like the behind the scenes of Jurassic World, and he's very, very passionate, you know what I mean, about he wanted to get everything right, and he's talking about, the amount of pressure he had on the film, but he says he wanted something that people could be familiar with, but he says he didn't want it to be like a retread, and he wanted to see, the idea he always wanted was to see what would it have been like if they had finished the park, and then what if it went to shit when the park was already established and people were there? That's a different sort of take. And also the idea of playing with nature, and then it backfiring. It's sort of the idea. And Spielberg was blown away by that concept, and that's why a lot of Spielberg was helped out a lot on the set of that, and he was very passionate about pushing that out. And I thought in the film there's little moments in it, like between the kids, like the two brothers, and that there's just that spark of like heart in it, that was very Spielberg, and I enjoyed a lot. And but as far as Jurassic Park Part 1 and then Jurassic World, then it'll go Jurassic Park 3 and then Lost World is the worst. I'm not a big fan of Lost World. Lost World, just everyone and that's the thing with the internet. This is about like the internet again, of how everyone has to be sheep and follow the same thing. Everyone goes, oh well, Jurassic Park 2 is okay, but Jurassic Park 3, that's dreadful. That's like the worst film ever made. That they all freak out over it, and you're like, oh God,
I don't mind the third one. I don't mind the third one. It's not a great film by any stretch of the imagination, but it's certainly better than the second one. The second one is terrible. And like you say, it gets to the point. There's no points in the film Jurassic Park 3 where you're like, that's fucking stupid. It was a bit like Jurassic World, not enough Jurassic World, the Lost World, the second one. There was just so many things that were dumb about that film. Like, hey, let's bring a T-Rex to a highly populated area, and like shit like that. You're like, really? Is that really? Why would you do that? And then the whole thing where all the guards all of a sudden disappear. So the T-Rex has broken out and killed everybody, but nobody knows. Everyone overlooks that shit. And like you say, I still to this day say Spielberg can't have worked on that film because it's a fucking dreadful film in my opinion. Well, supposedly he didn't work on the majority of it.
Well, unless he just wants us to believe that. You never know.
Even though his name's on the credits, it's from what I've been told, he was not the one calling the shots most of the time. It was someone else. So, he did the same on the first film when he went and shot the first Jurassic Park, and then he handed over the bulk of the post-production to George Lucas. And Lucas was working with Michael Kahn, who's Spielberg's regular editor. They were putting the film together with ILM, while Spielberg was in Poland prepping Schindler's List. And Spielberg, Lucas and Kahn were back in Hollywood or back in California, and they were putting Jurassic Park together. And they would cut the film, and then they would show Spielberg what they put together, and then he would give them notes. Go and do this, go and change that, swap this shot, blah, 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 blah. And that's how the film, the first film, the post-production was done on it. Spielberg, he sort of supervised the post-production, but he supervised it while he was prepping Schindler's List. You know, and then at the very end of the credits for the first one, if you let it scroll all the way up, it's got at the very end a big thank you to George Lucas and a couple of other people. And that's why that thank you credit is in there. So it's, you know, it's something that he's he'd done before. It's not, so he wasn't new to doing something like that.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. That he was obviously a very busy guy back then as well. So
yeah, well,
had a lot.
Back then he was, you know, through the 90s, he basically shot, I think what he did was he shot 2 movies back to back. He shot one for the studio, one for himself, and then he had like a year off, and that's how he was doing it, because he had his family and, you know, had kids at that time, or younger kids, and that's how he felt best in terms of producing films. He was doing one, like, instead of sort of doing one film every 2 years. That's how he felt he got the best results doing 2 films. Because I think the previous film he'd made before that was a film called Always. I don't know if you've seen it. It's a remake. It's actually a remake of a older film, but it wasn't very successful. And he had a bit of a break after that, and he had like 2 or 3 years off, and then he came back and made Jurassic Park, and that's the sort of cycle that he was making films through the 90s on.
Rightio. Okay. Well, I think we've had a good chat about films and that.
Absolutely.
Now, Robbie, you've got Blu-ray for this week?
Okay, just to take us out, talking about that sort of pardon me, golden era of cinema. Here's a film that comes from that, well, it's not a Hollywood film, but it comes from that era. It's a film called A Touch of Zen. And if you've seen things like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, House of Flying Daggers, these types of films, this is where they come from. An epic directed by a guy called King Hu, come out in, what was it, 1971, I think it was, and it's 180 minutes long, so it's not a short film. But if you want to know the sort of where those types of films came from, you should go and check this out. I think this is a limited edition from Eureka in the UK. I think it's pretty near sold out now, or close to sold out. So if you're interested, go and pick it up pretty quickly. Otherwise, you'll have to wait for the regular edition. He's got another film out. Eureka put another one of his films out called Dragon Inn, which is a little bit earlier, 1967. King Hu's the director's name, but again, really good stuff if you're sort of into your martial arts and that those types of films. That's a good one. Deeper. Absolutely.
So a touch of Zen.
A Touch of Zen, yep. Pick it up.
Okay, so have a look at that one. Yes. So, right. So any more topics you want to talk about tonight, Rob, or do you want to wrap it up for this week?
I think we'll wrap it up because it's getting late where I am, and yes, I've got work and things tomorrow.
Yeah. No worries. Well, I think it was another great chat. I think we've got a lot to talk about, especially not just in the collecting world, but pop culture in general, the films and all that.
I think we talked more about influences that we're going to see in collecting over the next sort of year. Now, probably news was a bit thin this week in terms of statues and figures and things, but more so influences that are going to be coming down the pike over the next year or so. That's what we'll be seeing.
So, like I say, great chat, and thank you again, Rob,
No
as
problem.
always, for being on the chat.
No
Wouldn't be able to do
problem.
this without you, just me talking to myself. So, you were just as much as the whole reason this is going as I am. So I'm just the guy that presses start. So, so yeah, that was a good chat. And if anyone
Thanks for hosting and having us. It's always a pleasure.
Oh, no worries, man. It was a pleasure. Always pleasure. Good fun. And nothing better to do than on a Sunday night than talk shit about.
That's right. Yes. Before we all go to work and talk shit at work.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we talk shit at home about this, and then we've got a work shit that you talk shit about at work.
That's right.
So it's a cycle throughout the week.
Waiting from one pile of shit to the next. That's right.
That's right. So like I say, great chat. Probably sometime in the week next week, if my Batman piece arrives, my Mezco one, I might have a video up for that. We will see. You got any pieces coming in the next week?
No, nothing. Only those two little hobbit holes, which I showed you. That'll be about it. I might, maybe I might take some photos of them all together and put them up on my Google Plus feed, but nothing else coming in. I don't know when my next piece is coming in, to be brutally honest. It's could be a month or two away, which is, that's fine by me. Happy to put a few dollars in my pocket rather than put them in someone else's pocket.
That's it, yeah. You've got to get to a point somewhere, where you just draw the line and go, hey, I'm going to cut this out for a little while.
You know how it goes. One will come and then three others will be right behind it. So it's good to get ahead while I can, so to speak, because it's not going to last. I know that much.
Yeah, that's it. So like I say, like I say, thanks again, Rob. And if anyone's watched this, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed me and Rob discussing collectibles, movies, and just pop culture in general.
Yes.
So and like I say, if Mark is I've been watching tonight, or anybody like to check out his channel, genreonline.net. He does some great stuff. He's very informative, and he is great at talking pop culture. He knows a lot himself, especially about films and art direction and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
so,
we miss you, Mark.
Yeah, we're lucky to have you on the chat soon. Would be good, so we can talk a bit more and also get your thoughts on the film industry as well, and collectibles and things that would be interesting. So,
writing and things like that. Yeah, he's got a wide knowledge of that type of stuff. So it's
indeed. Yeah. Radio then, so I'll wrap this up, and I say thanks again, Rob, and everybody, if anyone's watching this, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next. Do you want to do it next Sunday?
Yeah, we'll do it next. So we'll block it in for next Sunday and see how we go through the week.
Sounds good. No worries. All right, then, Rob.
Brian.
Have a good week.
And we'll see you next Sunday.
I'll see you next Sunday, mate.
Bye.
Bye.